Alright, here we go, folks. Take two. Let's hope everything's nice and fancy. Hot Zergling, we had some tech issues. The client crashed for everybody, so we had to rebuild. And we're back heading for Cursed Hollow again. Deja vu. Hopefully everything's gonna be good. I'm gonna switch to the game screen.
Alright, so the key here is to not touch anything.
Yeah, let's not pause the game, maybe. Hopefully there's no more call for that.
Prepare yourself for battle, heroes.
Alright. Should we do a call out again?
Sure, you want to do red?
Yeah, I'll start off. Jaina, played by Yitboss. Karazim, played by Barcode. Zeratul, played by Slug Hunter. Murden, played by Thwa. Abathur, played by Alaris.
10 seconds.
Archetype, we have Phoenix on solo, Johanna on Virtuoso,
5,
Odin on Uriel, Ranaris on Rhaegar, and Ragnarok on Azmodan. Let's get started.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Don't. Yep,
West
don't.
again. I switched it to Central. I totally did.
Like it's either West or nothing. If there's visible lag, then yeah, we'll do something, but...
Well, here we go. We're all gathered in mid, except we have Abathur top. And a Uriel Zeratul duel in the bot lane.
Everyone's shaking hands here, but looks like Barcode drops just a bit more than they can chew.
Down
Yep.
goes Karazim. And Azmodan's making his way top. Actually, 3 Archetype players are headed up there. Leaving a 2v1
Losing that
in the middle.
Abathur. Trying to get that extra soak at top and having one less person in the middle really, it does hamstring you quite a bit in terms of damage. So you can't have to play a little conservative there.
Get that XP, and now they're gonna float back toward mid maybe. There's a little bit of action in the jungle area here. Potential action, we should say. This is something I like about Rhaegar. He gives you that option in the support slot to do this kind of busy work, getting those camps started. Meanwhile,
Karazim fights Jaina, but yeah, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Unstoppable force, movable object, and all that.
so Disco Tease gets their camp a little bit earlier.
Now, something I did not think I'd see is Zeratul's given Uriel a little bit more trouble than I originally thought, thanks to the Abathur hat. It's usually Uriel's are at 90% health pretty much the entire game, but Zeratul's actually making some headway. Not now, but was.
Uriel goes in. Maybe she doesn't like what you said.
Think I can't do damage, bruh?
Meanwhile, Bruiser camp is taken by red. And top lane, there's a tiny bit of skirmish going on here. First tribute spawning in 25 seconds. It's going to be at the bottom of the map.
Here's the irritating thing about Abathur, though, is that wherever the team goes to fight over tribute, they're going to get guaranteed push in one lane, which will almost always going to be the opposite lane that the tribute spawns in. So will that extra soak and a little bit of free damage be a big key factor here?
And the tussle over the tribute begins. Uriel jumps in. Not much comes of it quite yet. Although Zeratul's super low. Twa's in a little bit of trouble. Looks like it's going Archetypes away so far. Zeratul's having a real tough time getting in there without getting smashed. First tribute goes to Archetype.
There's just so much meat on Archetype side that Disco Tees just can't really get in there and get anything done because they just get pushed out immediately.
And the fight continues in mid just a little bit. What's Kerosene wanting to do here? Interesting moment there. Kind of just sashayed onto the blue half of the map.
Team's actually really even on XP here. No one's really gained any sort of foothold.
Although bot lane is devoid of any disco tees at the moment.
Squabbling. Gathered
Looks like they won't miss anything though.
Tribute's coming up in 23 seconds. Jaina's going to go back to mid to get some more mana.
Murden
Heal up
jumps
with the
in.
fight.
Not much comes of that really.
Oh, Zeratul finds Phoenix. Phoenix in trouble here. Almost. And
Oh,
the grenade will be
and
just enough
the
to take out
kill.
Phoenix.
Good call.
Very unfortunate time for Phoenix to die right there, as the tribute is now up. Murden moonwalking through the entire enemy team and getting punished for it, but they find the Rhaegar. Rhaegar can't make it back to their enemy team. Just getting body blocked and shut down there.
Yeah, Disco T is very low on mana as well. Resources not conducive to winning this, but actually they get Yrel. Are extremely low.
Even though they actually did a really good team fight there, they will have to end up conceding this point, it looks like.
They are coming back in. They don't want to give it up quite yet.
No, they just had a sip of Gatorade and they're ready for round 2.
The Asmo bomb, but down goes Johanna.
Oh.
Both warriors on Archetype having a little bit of trouble staying alive in that one.
That's why that was a bloodbath of an objective right there.
Yeah, but they're doing Abathur things. They're kind of eyeing the boss here. Twal wants to start it. Doesn't seem to be a consensus. Jaina's working on the camp here. Just doing some macro map maintenance type things right now, generally.
Abathur's Mule is online, so now
the tribute.
it's the only character that can shut down shipping damage on siege there.
Yep, Baus goes back, being entirely out of mana. But they'll have plenty of time to get down to the trib. 15 seconds away.
Heard him taking a really spicy positioning here. Just want to be right there in their face as soon as they round that corner. They find the Johanna.
Kerosene going in hard a little bit.
We do have a clone on Zeratul, so we're going to see a lot of spinning and winning here.
Oh, and the planet cracker.
Two
Rhaegar
Zeratul on
is
top
dead.
of a Rhaegar.
Disco T is getting the better of this one. Looking to go 2-1. Go up 2-1 in the race for that curse. Zeratul trying to... Oh, 60 health for Zeratul.
Just not enough damage, so that tankiness they drafted is really starting to bite Archetype in the butt here in these fights.
And Ragnarok goes down. Disco T is going to go ahead and take Archetype's Bruiser Camp here. Why not? Yep, boss in trouble. No mana, almost no life left.
Architect getting feisty. Jumps in
This-
there, saves the camp.
Yeah, steal is thwarted. That's a bit of a risky place to back right there,
Shall we see who gathers
but it worked out.
this time?
XP situation is looking a little dire for Archetype at the moment, and real good for Disco T's. They're up 2 levels. 10 to 12. Undaunted though, it looks like Archetype's gonna contest this anyway. They still are on the same talent tier after all.
Not much action coming from Disco Tees. As I say that, they all go in and make me look wiser. Planet Cracker attempting to cleave the whole enemy team, but unfortunately Phoenix is just so soft they instantly die. That is a nigh full wipe here. As Urel, Esmadon being the only survivor of that engagement, that will be a curse for Disco Tees.
The last-ditch effort by Asmodeon to interrupt it.
Every second counts with those death timers.
It looks like Disco Tees just wants to go ahead and pressure top lane here. This aggressive move there by Karazim.
I've seen some aggressive plays in my day, but boy, this sure is one of them.
Nice response though from Archetype.
Yeah, they wanted to get right past and get on that key, but couldn't. I just couldn't hang in there.
Yeah, it's kind of an unusual decision. To skip the fort, just go for the money deeper in the lane. Don't see that very often.
Oh.
Abathur's chewing away at bot lane as this engagement kind of peters out.
And so
They have a nasty mess to clean up. Phoenix and Asmodon do see that as the other three hang top, make sure another craziness ends up as Disco Tees start up their boss.
And right now XP is a huge problem for Archetype. 15 to 12. They're going to need to get 13 pretty soon here if they're going to be able to impose their will again in the short term. They are trying to even out this macro game by taking their own boss, but Disco Tees, they have other ideas as they saunter on down.
They are coming in like a bat out of hell.
Planet Cracker comes out again.
Taking a good chunk of Zeratul life. The clone is dead. Boss leashes. No one has any advantage on that now. Murden is 1v3 an enemy team. Doesn't give a damn. We'll walk in there and just start stunning everyone.
Jaina takes down Johanna and Rhaegar. The kill goes to Abathur. Meanwhile, looks like Disco Tees going to go ahead and finish off this boss. Get that pressure going. Their own boss is doing work top lane.
Yeah, now you've reached the level of despair in this game where you've reached the -3 levels. It's just so hard to come back from, especially in team fights.
Especially in a double boss map like this. But let's see what they can do. It's not over till it's over.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Huh?
And yes, Drone Knight, what a horrible night to have a curse. The map is basically Disco Tees. They can do what they will right now. Up 16 to 13. Looks like they're going to stick with macro. Just keep turning the map red.
That boss did surprisingly not too much at the top line. They were able to burst that down faster than anticipated. They lost the gate in the previous wall, but it's pretty good.
Urel's showing top lane, and Disco Tees might have some thoughts about that.
It seems like they're all dressed up and nowhere to go right now. All the lanes are pushed, there's no objective. Camp timers outside the Giants are all down.
Camp advancing down mid. Archetype is in full bunker mode at this point.
That wrist and peace, that Murden clone, just running at Phoenix despite all odds. Like a linebacker just trucking right through everything.
gather tribute or face my curse. The choice is simple.
So it is 1-to-1 on the tributes. So this isn't necessarily one to die for. Archetype probably will hang back. I should hope, being down as they are.
Not even giving a damn about it. Abathur's gonna go pick up the tribute. There's just so little contesting for it. They want to get that push going.
Really, it's just to try to survive till 20 at this point. Maybe get a pick off of a mistake on the part of Disco Tease.
Archetype's choices are pretty limited. I mean, they have to wait for them to come, or Disco Tease to come to them. As I say that, Lion Parent comes out, gets most of them.
Zeratul down to 13 health, and he does die. Uriel gets a good smack upside the head there, finishes him off.
The Disco Tease was a bit big for the riches there.
That
They only lost one person.
That Kerosene mobility, it's very nice. Barcode lives to tell the tale. 16 to 18. This is actually not a bad time for Archetype to contest things now.
It's good to see Archetype buff out their chest there a bit and make sure they prove that they're not just like demoralized to the point of name playing. Always appreciate a team that's willing to at least battle it out to the end.
No, they certainly haven't given up. It's nice to see. Of course, with an Abathur on their team, they're happy to draw out as long as possible any kind of engagements that might happen. But they don't want to give this curse away for free, so in they go.
Pretty soft engagements. Archetype clenched up really well there to kind of counter the Zeratul doing pretty much that, just getting the chip damage in. So at least they're also adapting. Oh, excellent Planet Cracker, catching all of them at least for a moment.
7-sided strike from Kerosene, and he will pay for that.
Without getting those crucial picks in their team fights, Disco Tease can't quite really get in there too much. Maybe the tanks are starting to come back online.
17 to 19. Archetype is making a nice late game push here. They go for the boss. Is that a bit cheeky, or do you like that call?
They want to get the ball rolling here, and that's the easiest way to get some immediate push, but that's also assuming that they can... They only got one pick. They didn't exactly shut down Disco Tease yet.
166 health on that Rhaegar. Used the Void Prison to extend his life.
The dog is just looking for a peel and can't quite get much. Jaina has to ice block the boss, or the boss is still getting in on this. Oh, everyone is so demonstrably low. Will the Abathur be the game changer?
100 health on Odin. He hops away. And it's a 4 for 1.
Blue team dominated.
These fights are covered at by an eyelash. I mean, we're talking hundreds of health.
Abathur gets the curse. Bot keep. It's gonna go down pretty quickly here.
Red team has destroyed a fort.
Looks like Twa just wants to get this over with. Oh, we have a healer brawl right here in the middle.
Disco T is just looking to end it. Not too much they can do as Architect is all coming up right now.
3 seconds. It's a desperate last-ditch defense of the core. 18 to 21 though.
I don't think there's anything you can do about the Avatar right now. It's just so much health to get there and only half a core to protect.
Although, it looks like Disco Tease is going to retreat here. Yrel doing a great job of disrupting that backline, splitting their team into 2 little clusters. Her sustain runs out.
Again, everyone is just so wildly low. And it's a good game. Game one goes to Scotties.
GG. Well played by both teams. It looked like Archetype had a chance there to sort of turn the game around in the end.
Yeah, if they found the right situations, they definitely could have won a team fight there, regardless of the disadvantage they were naturally put at.
I like the Moxie with that boss call when they had one of Disco T's down. They were thinking, well, you know, we're down a couple of levels, but we're up 5-4. Let's make something happen. Sadly, it just wasn't to be. Congrats to Disco T's on taking game 1. Let's go ahead and give them a point on the scoreboard here. And let's make the next lobby, shall we?
Yep, head on out.
We are headed to Towers of Doom. So, language and region. I have preferred game server central. It's totally central on my client.
Yeah, that's a bit beyond me. I don't really know, like, the who, what, when, where, whys of that.
So I have to switch some teams around here.
At least Archetype makes it easy. Just look at the Carbot gens.
So this has to swap with... Okay. Odin with... Alright, let's get into game number 2 on Towers of Doom.
Towers of Doom.
We were talking a lot about comebacks and showing moxie last game, and Towers of Doom is designed for that. I mean, you could have 1 health and you can still win the game.
Yeah, the phrase "it ain't over till it's over" is definitely true on this map, perhaps more than any other. Urel, first ban.
Bit of respect ban in there.
Yeah, even though it was a losing game, she was causing quite a bit of trouble in the back line.
That goat does not accept death. It's every time you do something, it seems like they have some kind of self-sustain ready to go.
Abathur ban, another respect, perhaps. Of course, the Rainer. I was looking at HOTS logs earlier. In Hero League, Rainer has been banned 32,000 times and played just shy of 10,000, so that's really out of whack.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Win rate is at 55%. And Deckard Cain will not be seen in this particular game. First pick to Haka.
Either way, it looks like they wanted to get that XP lead.
Going for that global. Lane pressure. In multiple areas of the map.
For the Horde.
Archetype liking the Johanna Asmodon combo.
Wonder if we'll see a lot of Asmodan this season after his reworks.
Wouldn't surprise me.
No one's... go ahead.
No, you get solid safe DPS, plus you have like almost guaranteed lane push with your demonic army.
Mm-hmm. Not seeing like Chromie or Genji bans. I haven't played with the new Chromie, so I'm not quite sure where she's at as of today. Disco T is going for the global strategy here. Maybe a little bribe action on the part of Brightwing. Alexstrasza banned out. I think
That's
she's
really interesting.
Alexstrasza and Deckard are my 2 favorite healers to play right now.
I suppose in a map like Towers of Doom, we're going to be fighting in fairly tight circles. The ability to just put down that big-ass super heal for your whole team is pretty powerful.
And Dragon.
Yeah.
Dragon works really well when you can kind of focus all of your power like that. Rhaegar Malthael. Malthael really good at soaking multiple lanes, taking mercs. And then the team fight situation can be really interesting with last rites.
I'd assume Archetype's just looking for a character that kind of balance out the Dahaka pick. Something to fight up against, you know.
Stitches want to
Oh
play.
boy.
Your favorite.
My absolute favorite character, Medivh, is in the game. Woo!
Well, it's your least favorite and your favorite all in one rotation.
There is Stitches. I do love me some Stitches. I don't know if we'll see it, but they could always be going for that Gorge Portal combo, because that's like you're gone. Once you hear that Van Door slam shot, you're just gone.
Phoenix, an interesting pick into the Stitches. If he's the one that gets nabbed, he can always teleport away. Stitch is pretty decent pick here. Their team, Archetype is not the most mobile group you've ever seen. In the early part of the draft anyway. But here we go into the game. Game number 2 between Archetype and Disco Tease.
Want to do roll call?
Sure, I'll start.
Okay.
Phoenix played by Solo, Asmodan by Ragnarok, Malthael by Odin, Johanna by Virtuoso, and Rhaegar by Rhaenyra.
Dahaka. This is for Team Disco Tease. Dahaka played by Yip Boss. Stitches played by Slug Hunter. Medivh played by Barcode. Genji played by Twa. And Right Wing played by LRS.
Trois. Un, deux, trois.
Twa. And so like put your hand on your chin, kind of like throw out the word Twa.
Prepare yourself.
And we are on Central Server, so hopefully everything is peachy keen now as we kick off game number 2. Archetype looking for that first point. And Disco T's looking to go up 2-0
Battle begins in
on the
10
season.
seconds.
Should make a fantastic start for them.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the battle begin.
And here we go, 5v5 in the middle. If you can count Medivh in bird form as one of the 5. Not really a body, per se.
Just an innocent bird.
Actually,
Nothing to see here.
Malthael went more top lane, so it's 5v4 to start things off. Virtuoso taking some Genji damage. Genji doing Genji things. And we're going
I
to
think
have
there's
a
gonna.
migration toward the bot lane. You were going to say?
It looks like we're doing a 4-man rotation mid to bot. So there's going to be slugging at each other this whole laning phase. We're looking for a really violent game here.
How's top lane doing? Let's peek at them real quick. Ooh, a tongue from Yet Boss on Odin. Odin just continues to harass. Meanwhile, we're just doing Archetype's just doing a mid-bot rotation.
That's a 3-globe hit from Mazda, who does get hooked in, but there's just simply no damage left to find anyone.
We'll probably have to get used to seeing that. Asmodan with his giant body, an easy target for that Stitches. And Stitches doesn't want to give up this engage here. Virtuoso pops that unstoppable. And there it is again.
Good of Asmo there.
Medivh
some-
just scouting and soaking.
Got some strong combos from Disco Tease, but they don't really have anything to follow up. They have someone to chase down kills, and they've got people to lay down to spit damage. There's no that like one big single burst target character on that on Disco Tease team, which might come into play when they can't get anything to follow up with Stitches.
Rhaenyra on Rhaegar was wanting to start that camp a little bit earlier than it looks like the rest of the team wanted to do. Dancing around a little bit. Oops.
Might not seem like much now, but like Glow of Annihilation will start coming online very soon if they keep giving up free hero stacks. That will start melting their team if they get not careful.
You must capture them quickly.
Rhaenyra does get that camp. It's going to be marching down bot lane. Disco Tease doesn't bother with theirs at this stage. And there are 3 altars in this first phase.
Go forth and claim the altars in my name. The Lutheran Lord demands it.
Johanna pulling everybody together. But it doesn't seem to phase Disco Tease too much.
No, they went in there, and then I get Stitches pulls Johanna forward like, yeah, you're not getting away, and says like, that's where I want to be. I got Iron Skin, I'm good.
And there's that Phoenix escape off the hook. But Medivh is going to get dunked on by Azmodan. Nice pressure here from Archetype.
Looking like 2 shrines to 1 in favor of Archetype.
Enough of this charade.
Yeah, it's said you generally don't want to die for these early altars. XP lead is always important, but certainly on this map where lengthy death timers late game can really be a problem.
Oh, Genji just getting hopped on, but can't quite get a break until I get protected from Medivh.
Less than 100 health. Genji escapes as he is wont to do. Archetype showing that, you know, they may have lost the first game, but their spirits are not broken.
Big shout out to Murda RG for raiding with a party of 23. Welcome, friend.
Thank you, Murda RG! Welcome, everyone, to Game 2 of Archetype versus Disco Tees. This is a Division A West game, cast by yours truly, Autothought and Broiled Beef. This is a nice change of pace for Archetype. They're actually ahead on the XP in this game. Not something we could say very often in Game 1. Seachel, thank you for the follow. Thanks, Beef, for keeping an eye on the chat for me.
You know, I gotta say, Alphael is doing more work against Dahaka than I originally thought.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens in team fights here after level 10. That's going to be pretty interesting.
The time is now, heroes. Claim the
And now we
altars.
have the dance around this single altar.
Stitch's hook is down. She's probably another 4 seconds or so. Raphael not giving a damn, just running in there and getting the dot out.
Disco Tease doesn't seem too distracted by that, though. Looking for that
Yep.
Phoenix. Solo is low, but manages to waddle out. And Medivh with that 100 life escape through the portal.
Oh, catches me deep with a dot. Will with oh, protected comes out. Will save them at 80 health. Amazing.
Malthael goes down, as does Genji. Medivh super low. Phoenix super low. But no more deaths yet. Oh, I speak too soon. Yet Baus destroyed by Rhaegar. Rhaenyra's getting the credit for that kill. Medivh sticking around with extremely low health. You only need 1 HP, folks. Sorry, Beef, what?
Oh! Brightwing jumps in at the last second as the border disappears and will get taken down by Medivh. And by well, technically.
The grave keeper.
I mean, Raphael. I was gonna say earlier that it's each team is doing it again where they are fighting down to the last hit point.
Stitches tried for that hook play. Didn't quite make it happen. An Archetype looking pretty good. XP lead, they have core health lead 36 to 28.
That hook trick is really hard to do before you have fishing hook, because that extra couple links in your hook will just it's just you need to get over that wall there.
4v3 here, looking really good for Archetype and Medivh. Another Medivh death. Let's pull up the stats here real quick. Bot lane is really important on this map. You can pretty much arrest the entire game if you control this map, or this lane, it seems. Murda RG, thank you so much for the follow. Stitches on Phoenix with the Gorge, with the portal. It's happening, the dream is real. Phoenix also polymorphed. And that'll
Polymorph into Emerald Wind. Like what? That's it. It's all you can do.
That'll be the story of him. Dahaka up top, just doing Dahaka things, as we have 2 altars spawning in the lower third of the
Take
map.
the altars and put an end to the Gravekeeper.
Stitch is going to get that one pretty easily. Bot. It's going to be contested a bit by Archetype. Out goes the tongue. Johanna pops unstoppable.
Oh, just misses Johanna on the pull there. Raphael finds Stitches and starts doing what Raphael's gonna do.
Slug Hunter escapes through the portal. Polybomb comes out. Not much effect there. Dahaka destroyed by Phoenix. A little bit of revenge, perhaps. And Medivh cheats. Remainder of Disco
Right.
Tees are mostly safe, although Ragnarok has something to say about that.
You know, you can block those and not take any damage, but you still get a stack there, and it is really adding up. It's taking like half of Brightwing's health at this point.
And here's that bot lane control. Now they can take Disco Tees camp while they work on their own with Odin. And they'll try to walk in some pumpkin shots maybe. Phoenix is the one they want to get hooked, though. It's not terrible for them. It's tough because you have to fight under tower. You're getting all this pressure from the invading team. In come 3 pumpkins. Potentially 3 core shots here.
It looks like they're about to make it. They're right on the cusp there. Oh, nasty combo.
And that's 2 deaths on the side of Disco Tees. Well done by Archetype there. You can see we're spending a lot of time on bot lane because that's what this map seems to be about these days.
Oh, Ghost Stasis will be enough to just get punished. Nah, Regeneration will kick in.
He'll walk away. Meanwhile, objectives are happening.
Just misses the interrupt on Rhaegar.
The tongue also misses. The slippery Robo Pooch. It's tough to land those skill shots on him sometimes.
Johanna almost getting out of here, surprisingly like that. Disco T's trying to take advantage of the little treat they found here. Polymorph comes out.
Stitches gets the kill on Johanna.
Just too late on that ancestral heal. They're trying to clutch it out, making sure it comes right down to 100 health and back up again.
Looks like they'll be able to stop these pumpkins from making their way in. And they're going to retake bot tower, so that's good for them.
You know, even if you don't get the pumpkins to march in, you are still denying resources from the enemy, which will, unless it goes unchecked, will really hurt you later.
Look what's going on with boss. Odin slapped it a few times. Doesn't look like there's team consensus on taking it, though. Instead, they go for the top siege. And we're in a 3 altar phase here.
It is nearly time.
Good job by Disco Tees recovering from that bot lane issue. That can be really difficult to correct. There's the gorge, there's the portal. They have that down, don't they?
Yep.
Into the poly. There's their combo.
What you're looking at was their draft.
Oh, and Rag's Asmodan bomb is a little bit short of poking that. Disco Tees is feeling it. I think they can take this altar away over here.
Find the Rhaegar. But they find the other Architect finds the rest of Disco Tees in the back, grouped up. Right wing just can't quite get away regardless of the portal.
Couple of skirmishes going on. Dahaka.
100 health, 80.
Hero slain.
Div again dying. This time to a well-placed Ragnarok attack. And
Solo couldn't
Phoenix.
quite moonwalk away. There it is. There's
There's the
rites.
last rites. Pressure is real. Goodbye, Stitches. What are they going to do with this? It's 3 alive for Archetype. They're going to go ahead and go for this boss.
I think. No,
Oh.
they're disagreeing again. They want to say, screw it, let's go take mid.
Be interesting to hear the shot calling around these boss moments, wouldn't it? I don't know if much advantage was really pressed in having those 4 kills.
No, it seemed like they just
got
couldn't
that.
quite decide on what they wanted to do exactly.
Hero slain.
They did take the siege camp, so there's that. Archetype, I mean.
Process.
Disco Tease finds themselves down a level again. It's been mostly a close game, though, in terms of power levels. Ollie comes out. Gets 3 people out of that. Some okay value. Genji looking for that pressure there, but last rites wins. Goodbye,
You know, I
Genji.
didn't really think about it before, but Last Rites is pretty it's a pretty daring pick. I mean, you have a Genji Reflect, you have Medivh existing, Dahaka Stasis. I mean, there's not really too many targets. You have to make sure all these protections are down before you try and go for that free kill.
The Hakatone to start things off. Slug Hunter comes in. A bit of a flankish move. Flankish. Medivh having a tough time staying alive this game. They've done a great job of getting rid of him.
Anti-synergy, Spartwing push to the Stitches hook. Been there, done that.
I am lord of this realm, and it will not be stolen from me.
That's going to take us to 23 to 11 in favor of Archetype.
You will pay for your arrogance.
And they like pushing this lane again. They're not doing it as a full team. Phoenix is taking Siege, while Odin is working mid.
Dahaka's at top, also taking the siege camp, trying to balance that out there at the bottom lane.
Looks like Odin might take issue with that. No, just happy to just clear it, it looks like.
Espadon is now at full stacks of orb, but they really need to consider whether or not they want to start grouping up again.
Another hook on their most mobile player.
And goes all the
Phoenix gets the
protections.
ancestral. Looked like. Right wing saying, "Get away from me." Wasn't enough.
The bottom and the brawl at bottom, it's a total back and forth. Genji finding what a battle. That is one
Yeah,
for
1
three.
for 3, yeah.
It's a pretty dire situation now for Disco Tease. They're down a fort, but also have the 2 objectives coming up and pumpkins to fight against.
Archetype has regained control of that bottom lane. The death timers, as I mentioned earlier, becoming increasingly critical.
The altar is ours. Fire upon the grave.
Disco T's down to
You have
1 HP.
let the gravekeeper know my
This is the rally time.
Odin is
This is
poking
when-
around the boss again. It's 3rd time the charm. Are they actually going to take the boss?
Oh yeah, they're looking for a GG here.
Why not? This is the fastest way to end the game at this point.
Good Tease finds it.
pretty
Oh,
good
looks like,
defense being mounted here.
Archetype can't quite find it. Here it is. Battle for the century.
Polybomb comes out again.
You have to vacate that. But it's so
Asmodan
low.
getting kills left and right. 3 kills for Asmodan. And that will be GG. With Genji with 50 HP at the very end of the game. Well played. Well played.
That was definitely Towers of Doom. Fight over bot lane and then these like total wild man team fights.
And there you have it. Archetype comes back in game 2 to even up the night with a 1 win apiece result. 1 point each for these two Division A West teams. Quite the conclusion there, Beef. That bot lane, once again, so important on that map.
Absolutely. I have never seen, and this goes for both games, I've never seen any team fight come down to double-digit health several times. Like, it's like unheard of.
Just looking at the stats here for one final moment. I did notice Medivh is having a hard time staying alive that game. 6 deaths for Medivh. Rather rough.
Their game plan seemed to be kind of simple. It was Medivh to scout out, then drop a portal, hook, gorge, and they're gone. But they only got that off 3 times? Maybe 2?
Well, alright folks, that's the story for Archetype versus Disco Tease, Week 1 NGS Division A West. Thank you so much for joining Broiled Beef and me, our first cast of the season. Started off a bit weird with some technical issues, but I think we worked it out. The VOD might look a little strange at the top, but we'll see. Anyway, good games to both teams. They were highly entertaining matches, I would say.
GG's, definitely. Very close.
And